Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of the Dream Alchemist podcast. I am your host, Crystal Lauren, and in this episode, we're going to continue our conversation on Chiron, um, in astrology. Chiron is where your healing needs to take place in your life. Okay, you were wherever your Chiron is placed when you were born on your birth chart is the area that you will need to focus on healing in. All right, that's be some areas where there may be some trauma and need of healing. It also is also can help you with part of your life purpose as well, because once you overcome healing in a particular, you go through a trauma, you go through need some healing somewhere. Once you accomplish that, then you are able to help others in that same way. Okay, so now, last week we went over Chiron in the 12 signs. I did an overview of what Chiron is. I'm not going to go over it again here, just for the sake to keep this episode, not too long. But please, please, please listen to the previous episode first before listening to this one. All right. So we're going to talk about Chiron in the 12 houses. And the houses in astrology basically represent areas of human life, all right? Different areas of your life. And Chiron can affect those different areas of your life. You may find that you have wounds in these areas of your life, or struggles in these areas, challenges in these areas of your life, and you wonder why you're having it. Well, if you look at your birth chart, then you will probably see your Chiron in that area. So let's go ahead and get into it right now. We're going to talk about Chiron in the first house. All right. Whatever houses the planets are in on your chart will show your destiny and are unique to the exact time you were born. Now, I know everybody don't know the exact time they were born. I'm one of those people. I do not know the exact time I was born. I don't have my original birth certificate anymore. My parents do not remember, of course, so I don't have the exact time. So you can still use your birth chart to get that information. You get more information from considering the entire chart rather than just your sun sign. Okay, so basically your sign, your whatever signs or planets, or whatever planets are in your birth chart, kind of tells you about your destiny, what you are going to do in your life when you were born. Okay, so let's talk about Chiron in the first house. The first house is ruled by Mars, which corresponds to Aries in the first zodiac sign. All right, now my Chiron is in my first house and it is in Aries. Okay, so this is something that I definitely can relate to. Now, Chiron in the first sign, your soul considers coming into this world as a wound of its own. So when you came into this world, you came in as a wound. Okay, the realization that you have had to cause pain to your mother inadvertently, for some reason you caused pain to your mother inadvertently to come into this world, is clear to your soul. So that's what you were purposed to do. When you came to this world, you came with pain and hurting. For example, you may assume that it is impossible to live without hurting others unintentionally. For this reason, For this reason, you may be particularly sensitive to the idea of pain and to others' pain. And you position yourself to help others who are in pain or in need of comfort. Okay. Now, if Chiron does not feel at home here, you might sense a bit of existential disgust and nausea when you are face to face with your imperfections. The wounded Chiron in this house feels psychologically powerless when taking on new things or decisions. For this reason, you might swing the other way and become impulsive about starting new things and making new decisions. Other factors affect your impulsivity, and you might be worried about hurting others when you make your own decision. Okay. So you struggle with making decisions, you struggle with taking risk. Sometimes you move impulsively. That is something that I do as well. Now, for me, I was born, at early childhood. Another thing that's going to happen with you, could happen with you, you have childhood traumas. You experience pain early on in life. I did that. I came into this world having a condition that caused me to be in a lot of physical pain. And then I went through a lot of emotional pain through my childhood from peers, um, being taunted and teased all the time. And then I experienced a lot of pain in relationships, a lot of heartache. Was very painful for me. Okay, so that is something that you could be dealing with in your life. And if you have Chiron in your first house, then that would uh, be a reason why you're experiencing that. And dealing with imperfections of yourself. You had self-esteem issues as well. Okay. Now, but if you find that you know, baby cause people pain for some reason, this is why. And you want to work on this so you'll be able to help others in the same way. Okay. Now let's look at Chiron in the second house. The Chiron in the second house is ruled by Venus. It corresponds to Taurus. If you are this soul, you felt some awkwardness as you incarnated into this physical body with human needs. The idea of condescending to being human bothers your soul, and it hates having to lug around this flesh sack of body and bones. Okay, now that means you don't feel comfortable in your skin. Okay, for some reason you may have struggle with that, not feeling comfortable in your skin. When Chiron is not comfortable in this house, the body is looked upon with disdain. It causes you endless embarrassment without knowing it. You may constantly flagellate yourself, metaphorically speaking, so you can purify your unclean body. So you feel dirty for whatever reason. That is something that you could be dealing with. You might choose to avoid sex or food. You may have some disorders as well. Now, to evolve from this, when you evolve, you can feel self-pity and pity for others. The fact that we all have to use the bathroom and have sex, eat, work for a living, or manage money is something that moves you, so that you are more compassionate to others and yourself. You feel connected to human neediness, so you temper your idealism concerning lofty spiritual and intellectual pursuits. On the flip side, your body is a sensitive topic in your psyche. You may choose a line of work that concerns body-related issues like weight loss, eating disorders. You may work with money issues like tax problems, debt consolidation. You can help people connect to their wallet or body healthily so that they can heal their physical and financial wounds. All right, so your Chiron in the second house, that means you are struggling in those areas. Once you overcome those areas, then you can help people in with their body and their physical body and their financial wounds. Okay, people that struggle with money have money issues. People that struggle with body issues, that may be something that you struggle with, and you see that you struggle with that. You should really be concentrating on healing in that area. That way you can help others heal in that area as well. Okay, now let's go with Chiron in the third house. The third house is ruled by Mercury and is the house of communication. It corresponds with Gemini. So if Chiron is in this house on your chart, your soul might have an idea that it is not possible to have intellectual rapport along with connection. In other words, it might have trouble being understood by others in a past life, no matter how hard it tried to express itself. That feeling of always being misunderstood can make you feel helpless, and you might never want to bother communicating your desires. And in the fact that when you are born, the first and only thing you know to do is cry, and you can see how frustrating that is for the soul. This is the wound that plagues you. Therefore, you are very touchy on the subject of your intellectual capacity to understand others and your ability to communicate what you think clearly. So you struggle with dealing with communicating, self-expression, expressing yourself um, with in a intellectual way. So if you're still dealing with this wound, if you have not overcome this, you you are frustrated with people who do not know how to use language to get their message across. This can be even you are critical of other people that don't use language properly. You may be overly critical of people who do not communicate properly as well. You might use profanity repulsively on a constant basis. You don't know how to stop using profanity. Despite the difficulty with expressing ideas that comes with this placement, you are likely to be fluent in an impressive number of languages and pride yourself on speaking and writing politely and eloquently. Okay, so you can do it, but it is something that is an area where you criticize other people and you criticize yourself with it as well. If it's not done perfectly, it has to be done perfectly, and you're misunderstood, or you struggle with finding the right words to be able to do it clearly. Okay. Now, if you heal in this area, you might find yourself drawn to situations that allow you to help others communicate better or help them in navigation or schoolwork. So, for example, you can become a tutor, driving instructor, speech therapist, or someone who helps kids with learning disabilities. So, if you, a prime example is somebody that may have a speech impediment, and they maybe stutter, or they don't know how to communicate that good, and that really brought down your self-confidence. So you need to work on healing that area. You really need to concentrate on that. Not being overly critical to other people when they do it. And most people are critical to other people in a particular area because they lack it in themselves as well. So if you find yourself doing any of these things, this is a way that a wound that you can help others in once you overcome it yourself. Okay, so let's go ahead and go into Chiron in the fourth house. Now, Cancer rules the fourth house, which corresponds with the moon. A severe sensitivity on a soul level affects how you think about ideas like domicile, stability, and parental figure, or your origins. Your soul intensely perceives existence itself as a wound. It has given itself up to something that almost resembles predictability and safety on earth and expects nothing more. It waits for the rug to be pulled out from under it, so when that happens, it is prepared and not surprised or too hurt. This placement shows much vulnerability in your relationship with your parents, especially one of them, usually your mother, but it could be your father. Your relationship with this parent is very problematic. In the best case scenario, one of them is the safe haven offering you support and protection, while the other is either absent or problematic in ways that affect every area of your life. So, this area, this wound, is somebody that has some issues with a mother, more than likely, and sometimes a father, but you are wounded in that area. You tend to seek out and follow emotionally unavailable people because that's what you came into this world with, somebody that was unemotionally available to you. Okay? And you struggle with that. You need healing in that area. You might have a strong need to belong. You need to be needed. You are emotional, empathetic, compassionate, sensitive, and do a great job at absorbing other people's suffering. This can be a problem since you might cross the line all the time and not let people be independent. You want to be the sole nurturer and comforter, but life does not work that way. Unfortunately, things do not work out the way you would like. You feel like you're being manipulated, exploited with time, and your good intentions are used against you. Consequently, you become bitter, arrogant, and spiteful. Okay, so you definitely need to evolve in this area to overcome that wound you may have with that parent. You need to really, get a control of your emotions. It's something that your emotional you have emotional issues because of this. All right, so once you evolve in this area, once it's healed, a profound level of empathy can be and care fueled by the soul. You offer emotional support, nurture others, and might find yourself being the parent you wish you had but never got. Many therapists and psychologists have this placement on their birth charts. They are fantastic at assisting others emotionally, amazing at unraveling the twists and knots that lie in the human psyche. So the reason why you need to overcome this, if you understand what I'm saying, is to be able to help others and be a support to them. Okay, so a lot of times these Chiron placements, if you look at where they are, where you have the wounds are, it's also kind of coincide with who your ascending placement is, what your ascending placement is, and who you are personally, which you can find that out, like I said, through other placements in your chart and your numerology chart as well. So now we're going to go ahead and take a break, and then we'll go ahead and take a look at uh, we're going to go ahead and take a break, and then we're going to go into the next house, which is the fifth house. And yeah, I'm going to talk about some other things. Chiron wounds and gifts in each zodiac sign. I think we talked about that. Yeah, we did. We talked about that last episode. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a break, and I will be right back. Today's episode is brought to you by Crystal Herbal Creations. Crystal Herbal Creations, you can find magical products like herb jars and oils. These herb jars and oils can help you manifest things that you desire. It can help you bring more money into your life. It can help you bring success into your life. It can help you get a connection with your ancestors and so much more. We also offer readings and Zoom courses and path working courses that can help you transform your dreams into reality. So make sure you check out crystalherbalcreations.com. All right, let's continue with our episode of The Dream Alchemist. All right, we are back. And the next house we're going into is the fifth house. This house is ruled by the sun and corresponds to Leo. There is a rupture in the psyche in this placement regarding creative outlets, ego, structure, and self consciousness. You may find it hard to figure out who you are or celebrate your authentic self. Chiron is connected with the real you. Remember, I said that before the break. Is Chiron is connected to who you really are. All right. So this means you feel embarrassed about being true to yourself instead of following the herd. This embarrassment can also be disguised by a drive to be yourself fully. People with this placement will strive to be part of the collective. Many with fortune and fame have Chiron in the fifth house. They have embraced their weirdness, proving it can be an asset. Solar Chirons find healing through acting or creating, so they gravitate toward the media and entertainment industry. So a lot of comedians, for example, would be probably have Chiron in this placement. They use comedy to cover up things. Okay, a lot of times that's what happens with comedians. You hear them say that. Now, when Chiron finds the fifth house uncomfortable, they may have decided that they are not desirable and their presence is not needed. To combat this, they unconsciously might lean toward narcissism, becoming heavily preoccupied with themselves, making it very hard for them to connect with others around them. One of the best ways to mitigate this narcissist tendency is through creative expression. This often allows the solar Chiron to connect with others, healing their wounds in the process. They need approval and attention and can only be soothed through self expression and creativity. If you choose to have kids, you might fixate on them because you see them as extensions of yourself when they are individuals. So, to evolve around this, you uh, need to have outlets, okay, creative outlets to help you express yourself. That's where Leos do well at, is in the creative arts area. So you want to discover your authentic self. Okay. You you once you evolve from this, once you heal this area, you by discovering yourself, by having creative outlets, you working with others, you'll heal the wound that starts in the center of your soul and find that at last you are proud of your existence and your role on life stage. So to, you struggle with being proud of who you are and finding your mark in the world, and you can help others do the same thing once you heal yourself in that area. You're very creative, so you want to use those gifts and talents as well to heal and to maybe teach others as well in this, to be, to use their gifts and talents in the creative space as well. Or, like you say, be in the entertainment industry, or do something that where you can put yourself out there more and express your creativity. So that's Chiron in the sixth house. I'm sorry, the fifth house. Now let's go into Chiron in the sixth house. This house is ruled by Mercury and correlates to Virgo. This is a deep, intense feeling of pity and desperate compulsion on the soul level when it comes to matters of soberness and practicality. In other words, you might find you constantly disconnect from life's routines because you feel that despite your best efforts, perfection will always elude you. So you struggle with perfection, to a strong degree, and you this person wastes no time engaging in activities that allow them to ignore the boring details of living in the physical world. So, if this is you, you might find that biological processes of cleaning, sweating, urinating, defecating are quite an embarrassment. You hate it when you are sick or in a position of need. Thus, ironically, you might feel drawn to neediness or sickness in others because it gives you a sense of relief knowing that they have to deal with the same things you do. You find it soothing when you take care of animals, especially wounded ones or those with anomalies. You also enjoy caring for plants. Okay, so your soul itches to strive for perfection. Okay, and it's to a point where you can't operate in the world properly. You escape using anything from sleep, medication, alcohol, or other drugs to compulsively engaging in dance, music, and fantasy worlds. So you can compulsively. It don't have to be these things. It could be something like compulsively cleaning. Okay, a lot of people, the Chiron here, may have OCD as well. All right, so if these things are preventing you from living life normally, then you probably want to work on healing yourself. Once you heal yourself, the evolved Chiron in this chart is okay with observing others' flaws and sins without feeling self-righteous or victimized in the process. So that is another thing that you may be doing, is criticizing others. I mean, you may look at other people, and if their car is not as clean as yours, you have something to say about it. Or you have something to say if they're not eating the right foods. You have to be perfect in every way. You have to make sure you look good. You have to always point out that You are perfectly made. And then you are judgmental of others as well. Now, you in your evolution, you have learned the impracticality of your standards. You accept that everyone is imperfect and has limits. Your acceptance is not from a sense of superiority disguised as compassion, but from authentic humility of recognizing that the same awkwardness in others exists within you and in all of life. You know that this is what it means to be human. So I hope that was self-explanatory. You once you're if you do too much of this, that means you need healing. Okay, you may not even see that you do this, but if you talk to someone else, they can probably tell you that you do this. If you take a look at yourself really authentically and heal in this area, you will see and that you do that. You can help others heal and yourself by moving your focus from what cannot be to what is possible. Simply pay attention to others, be of service to them, or just be a witness to their burdens. In turn, this blesses them with healing as you show them that it is all right to be as they are and not strive for impossible, perfect standards. So, helping people, being comfortable with not being imperfect, not being comfortable with something not being perfectly done, being comfortable with that and know that it's part of human life. And having that feeling in you, you're probably always uptight, like something is not right, something is not right, something is not right. And then you're always looking at other people saying, that's not right, that's not right, that's not right, that's not right. You're doing that. And once you heal from, there are people that have self confidence issues. Once you heal from that, then you can relax. And you can also, once you overcome that yourself, then you can help others see that things are not perfect, because a lot of people commit suicide because they don't feel that they're perfect enough. And you may say that one wrong thing to them to cause them to feel some type of way because you're looking for perfection, not only in yourself, but other people. All right, so that is Chiron in the sixth house. It's Chiron in the seventh house. This house is ruled by Venus and correlates to Libra. Relating with others allow you to share experiences you consider pitiful, like uh, ephemeral nature of life and tenderness, which are involved in the idea of coexisting with others. A native of this placement, you have to face the fact that your actions will somehow affect others no matter what you do. Your soul feels like it cannot escape this cause and effect nature of living. You can't be if there is no other person to be with, yet you find it hard to be with others. You see the other as a reflection of your wounded self and the wounded world around you. All right. So, uh, you might be thought of as pitiful or wounded by others, or you may think of others around you in this way. You tend to attract Chiron like individuals who have wounds that are difficult to heal or desire to heal others with wounds that have proven impervious to all healing. This wound can serve as a foundation for connection, so there is a risk that you or the other person will unconsciously keep picking at the scabs to keep it open so that one does not have to lose the other person. Okay, so to evolve in this area, or once you heal in this area, you can see others in your life who act as agents of healing, no matter how much pain and hurt they might have inflicted on you. The very nature of coexistence implies that we will hurt each other, yet we can heal each other just the same as long as we accept our part in hurting others. In isolation, there is only pleasure, not pain. However, pleasure and pain are concepts that are relative to each other. If you do not know what pain is, how can you appreciate pleasure? Also, without experiencing pleasure, how do you know you are in pain and need to heal? Therefore, pain and pleasure are unavoidable in our relationships. The evolved Chiron in this house comes to accept that as a part of human life. So you struggle with dealing with pain with people. So you find yourself, because you get hurt in a relationship, you tend to probably not be in too many of them. You are to yourself. You are you don't interact with family too much because they have done something or said something that hurt your feelings, and um, you don't like the idea of feeling pain. You don't like it at all. Um, you can't connect with others or coexist with others because you're hurt by them, and you just want to just be by yourself. You want life to be all pleasurable and no pain at all. You want everybody to be perfectly happy, getting along harmoniously, no issues at all. Okay? So once you heal from that, you know that you can also help others understand. You can do like relationship coaching and building relationships once you heal from that area. Because once you are able to connect with other people better, then and handle pain, that's another thing that you can help people with, is dealing with pain. All right. So the eighth house, Chiron in the eighth house is ruled by Pluto in connection to Scorpio. You have some psychological and moral discomfort, awkwardness, and problem regarding your safety, mutual resources, shared experiences, and sexuality with others. You feel vulnerable as you protect yourself or others, or bond with others psychologically and financially. When Chiron is not at home in this placement, you might be plagued by a constant feeling of dread when it comes to intimacy. This is you are unconsciously driven to share your body or resources in the most compulsive ways because you want to heal. Thus, you experience both extremes, the fear of intimacy and the obsessive drive to achieve it. Okay, so that is something that you struggle with if your Chiron is in this house. And yeah, this is the what house? The eighth house? Yeah, the eighth house. This is Chiron in the eighth house. So, so you struggle with intimacy. Either you fear it or you obsess over it. So that is something that you would need to work on. So you're either overly sexual. You may, to make yourself feel good, you kind of get sexual in maybe unhealthy ways. All right. With the wounded Chiron in this placement, the ability to experience true union and turn off the self-preservation instinct so that connection and communion with others are possible has been compromised. As a result, you find it hard to be open and let the other person in. So that's you. You find yourself doing that. You need to, your Chiron is there, and it's there for you to heal it, not just be, and that be you. Okay. Healed and evolved, you can heal others and yourself through the very act that you consider terrible. As you commune with others sexually, psychologically, and spiritually, you can instinctively tell how the other person has been wounded, and you just know what to do to heal that wound. You probably work as a bereavement counselor, sex therapist, or someone who helps victims of physical and sexual abuse. You know how to touch the scars of others in a way that heals them because the scars mirrors yours. All right. Now, the this here, the tremendous power of Chiron in the eighth house. Chiron in this placement is one of the hardest to deal with. Do not let this scare you. Do not let this scare you, though. Evolution and healing can lead you to becoming a mighty healer, transmuting pain to pleasure. In your childhood, you might have experienced trauma surrounding the death of a good friend, pet, or close relative. This experience taught you about death's nature. However, no matter how you went through it, you understood it quickly and either got over your fear of death or grew even more afraid of it. Healed, you become a powerful shaman. You can help others dive into the deepest recesses of their subconscious mind to grasp their darkest fears and heal them. If you can own the power of your fears and accept your shadow, you make yourself whole, and this in turn will transform and heal others so they can be complete. So Chiron in the eighth house have incredible healing powers. They're able to help people um, who are overwhelmed with past trauma. So this is why you want to heal in this area, because your purpose is to be able to do the same for others. All right. Now let's go into uh, Chiron in the ninth house. Chiron in the ninth house represents the concept of destiny. It is ruled by Jupiter in line with Sagittarius. This placement has some awkwardness when it comes to wisdom, spirituality, and faith. On the flip side, you may feel healed by engaging with these concepts. When Chiron is associated with Jupiter, you might find it hard to operate on blind faith alone, or you might swing the other way by relying too much on theory because you are seeking meaning and purpose. You want reasons to justify what you do on an intellectual, moral, or religious level. When Chiron is not comfortable with this placement, you may refuse to take a good look at life. Instead, you rationalize things using your own intellect. Okay. So for you to evolve, okay, in this area, and once you're healed in this placement, you can feel what it means to have a limited and personal reference point for all things, yet they find that the same limitations allow them to respect their inner morality and the morality of others. So you're going to be helping people deal with morality. Um, let's see, I'm reading here. The evolved Chiron in this placement feels the despair that ravages the human soul and at the same time finds joy in the limitless nature of choice, even within life's limits. Because these limits allow the life to have more meaning, as we must make the right decisions and have some form of morality. There would be no such concept as meaning or right in the life with no limits. So you struggle with life having limits. You have trouble with faith and as well. So here it sounds like I'm looking at this. You could be a good life coach with someone helping them understand life and what it is, and um, thinking that and strengthening their faith. That can I would a good like I said, a good example for me to me would be a life coach or a pastor, or I mean it just depends on what your interests are. Um, Spiritual. counselor or something like that. Okay, so let's move along to Chiron in the 10th house. Chiron in the 10th house represents karma. It is ruled by Saturn and is connected to Capricorn. You may feel like you have disappointed a parental figure, someone you considered superior, or your super ego. This person is someone you think always expects you to be the very pinnacle of excellence in all you do. You feel odd when it comes to rising higher in life, but be it socially or in your line of work. On the flip side, the drive for excellence can move you to connect with others and help them achieve their highest dreams and hopes as you allow yourself to be a means to their glorious end. Okay, so Chiron, uncomfortable in this placement, can be full of spite toward everything held dear by the intellect, culture, and society. You might feel equally drawn to and disgusted by everything that tradition honors, as well as those recognized by society and experts of champions of specific political ideologies. So, if I'm letting this um, Chiron in this placement is a sign of how incapable or not you are of trusting this power. So, the power of God, um, yeah, the power of God, believing in a supernatural power, you struggle with dealing with that. If your placement is here, if you're someone that struggles with that, it's not meant for you to be okay with that because once you heal in this area, you will be able to help others believe in supernatural power. Um, you are able to help people believe in things. You have to learn how to believe in things. You do not believe in a lot of things. And when you do believe in things, you can find wisdom and guidance in your own life. And once you do that, you'll be able to help others receive guidance and wisdom in their lives as well. Okay, so let's go to the 11th house. The 11th house correlates with the Aquarius and is ruled by Uranus. This house has to do with gains. You might struggle with your ability to move past your ego so you can connect with others around you. On the other hand, you might feel a bit awkward about being part of humanity, and because of this, you might choose to look at others in a more forgiving light. You feel a pervading sense of discomfort when it comes to being a part of a whole tribe, being part of a whole or tribe, and playing your bit to continue to the whole. Uh, let's see. When Chiron is wounded and uncomfortable in this placement, you may find it hard to belong to anything larger than yourself. When this is the case, you start to feel like you are not moving anywhere and nothing's changing. As a result, your sense of self is static. You may instead find that it is boring to be someone defined by the roles and labels. Uh, Again, you carry a sense of awkwardness with your everyday life. All right. And you don't, and defining yourself in the collective. Like, what did you come into this world to do? You don't feel like you fit in with the world. Um, you know how to, once you evolve, you'll know how to heal the tribe through your strengths. You develop a unique identity as a healer, touching many lives by getting into their personal history while sharing your wounds to help them in the process. You come from a place of one for all and all for one. In other words, you heal yourself through the collective and the collective through your divine presence. You are at peace with being somebody and you can still transcend that on your terms so you can be nobody through the process of allowing yourself to be a part of the whole. Okay, so that is Chiron in the 11th house. Now, Chiron in the 12th house. This house is all about our exit from the world. It is ruled by Neptune and connected to Pisces. You have a deep desire to transcend the limits of being human and rise above your fears, doubts, and physical and spiritual deformities. You feel like your earthly experience is lacking in some way. It is like there is a spiritual or evolutionary drive within you to make peace with the fact that perfection and transcendence are impossible for you as a human. Okay? So you have a deep yearning to uh, transcend in life. Okay, uh, your one of your vulnerabilities is you feel an insatiable hunger to escape the poverty, cruelty, viciousness, and ugliness that plagues humanity, refusing to understand and accept that these things cannot be helped and cannot escape from them. You cannot see how things you run from are necessary to the human experience. Yet these are the things that offer you a chance to transcend in spirit if you choose to. Do the little you can to help others or improve human conditions practically. So once you heal from this and you evolve in this placement, you feel a yearning for perfection and beauty for as long as you live. But you understand that the yearning is what connects us all. Even life's lowest forms have a strong desire to transcend their conditions until they reach completion or union with the source. I am so sorry. I was recording this and it got cut off. Um, Part of my recording got cut off, so please forgive me. This episode, I'm reading from a book, and I'm just trying to share some information with you guys from a book that I'm reading as well. And I'm reading the book, not looking at my time. So please forgive me here. This episode is not what I wanted it to be. So if you're down here at the end of this, listening to this, then you caught this cut off. So we were in the 12th house, and what I was saying is, the 12th, your Chiron in the 12th house is all about you transcending from more of an earthly living into a spiritual living. You learn how to overcome all of that. You learn how to escape all the bad things that's happening in life. Um, you your purpose is to definitely heal in this area so you can help people escape from all of those things as part of human experience. And you learn, and you your problem, your healing, your wound is that all of that bothers you so much that you feel like it shouldn't exist. And the fact that you see it, you see, you want it to disappear, you want it to be gone. But when reality is, you need to learn how to live with it and transcend it, help people overcome it as well. You overcome it yourself first and then help others overcome it as well. So you have a yearning for transcendence, all right? And and dealing with immense grief and pain. So you deal with a lot of immense grief and pain, and seeing different things in life causes you to feel that the different things that happen in life, like poverty, or seeing homeless people, or um, the ugliness of humanity, you can't accept it. It causes grief and pain in your life, or you experience it and it causes you a lot of grief and pain in your life. And your goal is to be able to get through it on more so on a spiritual level. And then you can also help others do the same thing. So, again, that is the 12 houses, Chiron in the 12 houses. And I hope that was helpful for you. And that is our series on the Chiron placement on where you need to heal. And when you find out where you need to heal at, that can help you discover your purpose as well. It's part of helping you discover what you were born to do, and how you help others. Once you over heal yourself, which God created us to be able to do, is heal ourselves. Um, and knowing this can help you do that. You know what you need to work on and why you feel the way you do about certain things. Once you realize that and do the work, then you then can share it with others and help others who are dealing with the same thing that you are, help them deal with it too. So that is it. That is all for this episode. I hope that was again helpful. I apologize that it cut off in the ending of the last the 12th house. I was talking about it cut off some of that, but yeah. So next Saturday we'll be doing another episode. Next Saturday, I'm not sure what it'll be on yet. I get it intuitively on what to talk about. So if you want to um, see what it is about or check it out, you can visit crystalherbalcreations.com every Saturday. That's when I post it on the it'll be there on the website, the next episode. Make sure you follow us and become a regular listener to what we have. I'm here to help you along your spiritual journey, help you heal your emotional traumas and cope with life. So have a wonderful day, evening, night, wherever you are. Until next time, bye bye.